Hello everyone, it's Sal, Stretford Post. How you all doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. I hope everyone's doing well, and I hope everyone's recovering from the elements of yesterday, guys. Now, I want to separate the bull crap from the reality, all right? I want to separate what's the actual problem at Man United. Right now, there's a lot of noise in the fan base. There's a lot of indirect, oh, you know what, we should be doing better. Of course we should be doing better. But the biggest question that keeps being raised is this. The biggest question I keep hearing is this, guys. How comes a manager can go to Aston Villa and take them from the bottom of the league all the way to the top of the league? Let me tell you why, guys. Manchester United have a cultural problem. Ruben Amorim said it yesterday, and I've been saying it for months, right? Manchester United, again, have a cultural problem at the football club. This cultural problem is not going to change overnight. Added to the fact, Manchester United are a much bigger club than Aston Villa. It's a much more daunting prospect to put Manchester United back on the top of English football. The pressure is much more large. What have Aston Villa won? 0. You know, what have Nottingham Forest won? 0. They have no expectations on their shoulders. Manchester United do, you know, and when Ruben Amorim stepped into Manchester United, it's not about playing Unai Emery ball or Sam Allardyce ball or Gareth Southgate ball. He's trying to change a culture of the football club to build Manchester United into title winners. Now, you can't come into Man United and play David Moyes' ball and say, look, get the ball, kick it forward to the forward, and that's it, and expect to win leagues. You need to understand how you're going to be successful, the bricks that you have to build to be successful. It's not just ABC, you know. Now, many people are talking about who we signed this player, we improved the squad. As far as I'm aware, none of those players are Ruben Amorim players. You could argue Dorgu's a Ruben Amorim player. Dorgu's a young player. Dorgu's a young player who was wanted by Ineos in the summer. I wouldn't give Ruben Amorim 200 million. Why not? Because at the end of the day, Wilcox, Barada and Vivell are going to be choosing the players anyway, regardless who the manager is. So maybe you should point the fingers at them, right? You know what? Ruben Amorim's not exempt from criticism, and criticism is part of football. I understand that. I'm no stranger to that. I know that. But one thing we have to do is look at things in context. Yesterday, I am pretty certain, just like in midweek, when Ruben Amorim had cuts on his hand because he punched the wall, right? I'm pretty certain he didn't tell those players there to approach the game like a pre-season friendly, because that is what happened yesterday. They approached the game slow, lethargic, lazy, no press, no urgency, added to a lack of talent. So we got people out there saying, Ruben Amorim out, we'll get him out, Ruben Amorim out. And bring in who? Gareth Southgate? Sam Allardyce? None of these managers are going to change Man United's fortunes, let me tell you right now. None of them. I've watched a lot of football in my life. You know what I mean? And yes, you can blame Ruben Amorim for picking a strong team yesterday. But then again, isn't hindsight a beautiful thing? We can start talking about hindsight things and stuff like that. If we won the game, we wouldn't be saying anything, would we? At the end of the day, this is a perfect example of the mentality of these players that have been there under various managers and thrown various managers under the bus, guys. Added to a lack of quality. Let's get into some of your comments, guys. Good morning, EC. How you doing, brother? I hope you're doing well. I'm still getting over yesterday. Yep. Morning, Sal. It's clear that Amorim knows the problem, that this club has built a shitboard and owners that won't back him, basically another Ragnick. And I don't understand, Rashad. Why would you bring in a manager with a distinctive style of play in mid-season when he didn't want to come in at mid-season, right, and not back him? Isn't that counterproductive? Isn't that insane? You know what I mean? It's ridiculous at the end of the day. EC, Ruben is getting tired of the certain players mentioning they don't seem hurt after losing. His standards are seriously higher, which is great to hear. Just hope the club back him. Absolutely, EC, my guy. You say it as it is at the end of the day. You say it as it is. Ruben Amorim has had enough. Ruben Amorim is like, listen, guys, I'm going to tell you right now. If there's one manager that is going to walk from this job, it will be Ruben Amorim. I can see Ruben Amorim winning the Europa League and walking. I'm like that. I'm like that at the moment. If he's not backed, I can see Ruben Amorim walking from the job. I really can. I can see him going. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, look, he knows the quality's not there. You can lead a cow to the river. Doesn't mean the cow's going to drink from the river, isn't it? You could tell the players to do this, do that, do that. If they don't do it, what can you do? And this, you could say, oh well, but that's the manager's job to get the team playing and stuff like that. Wasn't it Eric Ten Hag's job? Wasn't it Ralph Ragnick's job? Wasn't it Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job? Wasn't it Jose Mourinho's job too? I mean, are all those crap managers? I said weeks ago, and Ruben Amorim, thank you, Ruben Amorim, for saying this in the press conference. The culture, I think he watches this channel, guys. I really do. The culture of the football club needs to change. Where does the culture of the football club change? From the top, because the top resonates. It resonates all the way down to the bottom on the pitch. That is where it resonates. Do you know what I mean? And to be honest with you, those people talking about what happened last summer, that has nothing to do with Ruben Amorim. As far as I'm aware, De Ligt, Mazraoui, Ugarte, all these players are not Ruben Amorim players. Not one of those players that started the game yesterday were Ruben Amorim players. None of them. And we said it, Rasta. We've been saying it for a long, long time, my friend. Absolutely. I really like Ruben Amorim yesterday. He speaks like us fans. It's a cultural problem. Even he said, so losing that feeling of a big... And he repeated what I said, and I'm glad he's done it. I'm glad he repeated what I said, because I've been saying culture. How many times I've been brought into this stream, I've been talking about culture at this football club? How many times? People say, oh, yeah, but you know what? Ruben Amorim needs to take accountability. He does every single press conference. He takes responsibility every single press conference. He takes the pressure of those shit players and he brings it onto himself. You know what I mean? Every single week, he does the same thing. Don't tell me about accountability. Who next? Who are we going to get? You think Unai Emery's going to change this? Who's going to change this? Who's going to change this mess at Man United? Who do you think? We'll end up with Gareth Southgate and then we will get relegated. EC. Marvin Hagler once said, it's tough to get out of bed to do roadworks at 5 a.m. when you're been sleeping in silk sheets. This is what's happening with, absolutely great quote. The players have been pampered. The players are too pampered. The players pick and choose when they should play. Ruben Amorim said it yesterday. We'll win the Europa League. Great, but it's not going to paper over the cracks of some of those shit players. You know what I mean? It's not going to paper over the cracks. You know what I mean? As I said, you can lead a cow to water. It doesn't mean the cow's going to drink from the water. These players are overly pampered. They pick and choose when they want to play. Give them a crutch, they will lean on the crutch. Give them an excuse, they will make that excuse. That is what these Man United players do. As soon as you say, well, you know what, we don't really need to win this game, you watch them down tool. You watch them think, relax. That's what they do. It's predictable. Yesterday's game was as predictable as rain in London. It was so predictable. We saw it coming. And most people said it during the stream, that Man United are going to lose this game like the Wolves game. We're going to just walk around, pass side to side, and that's it. And I don't think, and I've watched Ruben Amorim's sides. I've studied Ruben Amorim's sides. Ruben Amorim's sides do not play like that. They don't play side to side, back, side to side. They don't. And you know that because he was undefeated in the Champions League, wasn't he? It's these players, it's this mentality that we need to understand. Right? And they know, a few of those players know, and it only takes one or two of those players to spread the toxicity within the dressing room. It only takes that. It only takes that, for the whole camp to be infected. It only takes one bad apple to affect the fruit bowl. Do you know what I mean? So, Amorim said they are close. He said we got the ball in the danger zone, but the players couldn't finish. I think he's getting sick of Højlund. I think we all are, Almac. Look, Almac, you know me, brother. You know me. I've been supporting Rasmus all the time, but I'm tired now. I'm tired now. That guy should be in Championship now. I'm tired of backing these players. Either step up or get lost. And that's what I will say to these players. Step up or get lost. These players are not good enough. Money was wasted. Is that down to Ruben Amram? Is that down to Ruben Amram that we spent that much money? That's not down to Ruben Amram. That's not Ruben Amram's fault. Ruben Amram deserves a fair crack at the whip. He deserves his own players. And yesterday, I saw something in Ruben Amram I haven't seen in a long, long time. He's had enough. He's had enough of those players. He said it himself. If I cannot get backing that he's going to leave, get a new manager. He said it himself last night. He said it himself yesterday that he's embarrassed by this team and that we're better off staying in the Premier League and not in the Champions League because we're not good enough. He has targeted those players. He's spoken about those players. He knows now. He knows now that some of those players are not good enough. And I'm telling you, all of those players are not bloody good enough. You can single out Euro, right? You can single out those sort of players, the young players here and there. Okay, great. But what's happened to Kobe Mainu, guys? What's happened to Kobe Mainu? Where's Kobe Mainu recently? What's happened to the Kobe Mainu under, that we saw when he broke through in the side? What's going on there, guys? What's going on? Can someone tell me, explain to me what's going on with Kobe Mainu? Why does Bruno Fernandes like to go do the missing act, the missing persons act every few games? And now he hasn't performed in 3. You know, why does he do that every now and then? Do we need Roy Keane to start speaking on the overlap again? Is that what we need to do? To get him going again, to get him pumped up again? Is that what we need to do? Do we need to get Roy Keane again to pump him up again? Because this is what seems to happen with this football team. They seem to down tool when it suits them. We've got a massive game next week. And I know we've got a massive game next week. And I know that there are certain selections in the squad yesterday that shouldn't have been selected. But at the end of the day, that was a strong team against a West Ham team that haven't won in 8 games. You know, and you know, they lost comfortably, and West Ham ran out deserved winners. It's mad. Ciao. Anyone thinking changing the manager would change the situation, you're either dumb or lack ball knowledge. The same people will Hansi Flick out, Nagelsmann out. Absolutely, Ciao. Ciao, let me tell you something, Ciao. We can have Hansi Flick right now. We can have Nagelsmann right now. We can have Luis Enrique right now. Right? Almost said Enrique Iglesias. My goodness me. We can have Enrique Iglesias right now. We can have Luis Enrique right now. Nothing will change. I'm telling you right now, nothing will change. Whilst this culture at the football club remains, nobody is going to be successful at this football club. You'll get trophies. You'll get the Europa League. You'll get the FA Cup with these players. You get the Carabao Cup with these players. But the league, Champions League, forget about it. Forget about it. You're not going to get it. These players are capable of winning any game at any given time, which is why they tend to do better in cup competitions. Now, at the moment, there's no difference between us and Tottenham Hotspur, because Tottenham Hotspur are another team who, on their day, can beat anyone. But on their day, can lose to anyone. Now, I never thought I would be making that comparison. I never thought that I'll be making a comparison with Manchester United and Tottenham. I never thought I'd get to that day where I'll be making a comparison. And no, this is not the manager. Yes, you can blame him for certain in-game management things, stuff like that. But that starting lineup yesterday was more than good enough, more than expensive enough to beat West Ham. West Ham have done a double of us again. You know what I mean? I cannot believe this. Another record gone. Rasta, I don't want Southgate nowhere near this club. No one wants him, mate. No one wants him. He's a bottler, mate. No disrespect to Southgate, but no, I don't want him either, mate. We are destroying his reputation massively for a young coach. But what people need to wake up to is that we can have, as I said, we can have Hansi Flick, we can have Nagelsmann, we can have Luis Enrique. It's going to be the same thing. I guarantee you, I hope that we get a Nagelsmann. I hope we get a Flick. I hope we get a Luis Enrique, because you're going to see the same thing. The culture at the football club is poisonous. This football club is toxic from top to bottom. And Ruben Amram is the only manager that is calling out these problems, talking about these problems, talking about these players, talking about the ball that they need to back him. You can see it. You can see it. Yeah, like, look, listen, at the end of the day, part of me thinks that, all right, then let's get rid of Ruben Amorim, right? Let's sack Ruben Amorim. Let's do what they say, right? Let's bring in another manager. We'll be here 3 months down the line. Ruben Amorim is the best young manager in Europe. We're one of the worst run football clubs in the world. You know, and we've been average and falling apart, as you can see from the stadium now for 12 years. It's crazy. Sorry, let me just answer this. Ciao. We won't compete in the league anytime soon if our owners are still here. And you know what? The biggest thing that happened to Man United happened when Ineos walked through the door. And we needed a Qatar full sale, whether it was Qatar, whoever it was, we needed a full sale. Look at PSG, what they're doing with Qatar. People may throw at us, oh, but they haven't won the Champions League. PSG are always there or thereabouts in the Champions League. PSG are winning league after league, cup after cup, win. You know what I mean? And some people may say, oh, but it's a farmers league, Sal. It's a farmers league. Don't give me that crap. PSG were 20 years without a league title. Qatar walked into that club and they're winning. And they're in, like, what? How many Champions League finals they've been in, like, recently? About 2 in 5 years so far. They've been in loads of semi-finals. Every time you look at the semi-final, you see PSG. You know what I mean? So, Ephraim, good morning, my friend. Hope you're doing well. He is tired of these players. They will not match his ambitions. Exactly. He needs his own team. He needs his own team. Amorim nearly cried at the press conference. This club is is a graveyard for various managers. Amorim on the other night against Athletic Bilbao had a big plaster on his hand. He took the plaster off during the press conference after the game, and you saw cuts on his hand. Why did he have cuts on his hand? He was punching things. He's trying to get it through their head, their little peanut brains, that they, you know what, this is what you have to do. Why are you not doing this? Why are you not tracking? Why are you not scoring? Why are you not creating? This is what he's doing. Yesterday, I honestly feel we had enough with every single one of them. Even Bruno, I think he had enough. I think he had enough with Bruno. I think he's had enough with all those players there. Yesterday was very damning. Very damning. I feel sorry for Ruben Amorim. Ruben Amorim does not deserve this. He doesn't deserve this crap. I really hope he wins the Europa League. I really do. You know what? And fair play to him if he wins the Europa League. It's a magnificent achievement. And I won't let anyone put down that. Right? But that just goes to show you that these players on any given Sunday will do what they want to do. They have literally taken the chant where you're Man United, we do what we like. Literally. They're Man United, they do what they like. They play when they like. This is what they did. That's why they threw Ole Gunnar Solskjaer under the bus, Jose Mourinho under the bus, Louis van Gaal under the bus, Ralf Rangnick under the bus, Erik ten Hag under the bus. What next? Is it the bus's fault that we keep throwing people under the bus? No, but it's the bus's fault, right? The bus is there, so we shouldn't, you know, that's why the managers are going under the bus, so we're going to blame the bus. Honestly, this is the IQ of some people. You know, we're throwing managers under the bus. Ralf Rangnick, Erik ten Hag, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Jose Mourinho, and we're blaming the bus. That's what we're doing. It's ridiculous. Big up, Kenny. I want a rebuild with a young talent in and forget immediate results, but for our fan base won't accept a slow rebuild. Fans say he needs results next year. Now, we need a couple of 24, 25-year-olds, our Mac. We've got a good enough youth team. And to be honest with you, we're not Man United. We shouldn't be waiting another 10 years to get success. Man United needs success, and Man United needs to challenge for the league. We're the Real Madrid, we're the Bayern Munich of the Premier League. Young players, nah. And I'll tell you why. We might play with young players for the next 5 years and we might be unsuccessful. Those young players will leave. Then we start again. We got to give ourselves the best opportunity to win. We need to mix it. Great football teams have a mix of youth and experience. That's what we need. Youth and experience. We have no experience. We have no spine. We're like a slug. You know what I mean? At the moment, we have no spine. You can't just bring in 11 players, young players. Oh, we can win. We'll win. It's not going to work. And I've seen the class of 92, and I know why they became successful. It's insane how much focus is on the manager while the owners are just absolutely just sitting there doing nothing. Triple M, big up Triple M, big up everyone, of course, for joining the stream. Thank you so much. Don't forget to smash a like, guys. Thank you. Ephraim, why fans do not focus on the owners? No manager will succeed if they are backed. Well, at the end of the day, it's about backing. It's about the culture of the football club. It's about a whole number of things. A whole number of things. Do you know what I mean? The players would love Southgate park the bus. They would love that, Shah. You let the players off. Let them have an easy ride again, like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer ball. You know what I mean? Counter-attack. I'm disgusted. 39-30, 16th in the Premier League. Where are we improvements? Where is the passion to win the matches? Only slow passes between defenders and nothing more, Cosmo. Because if you watch the show from the beginning, I will explain to you why. You can lead a cow to the river. You can't expect the cow to drink from the river. And that will happen with every single manager. Luis Enrique, Nagelsmann, Hansi Flick, whoever you want to put in there, it's going to be the same thing. So what are we doing here? You know, we got to understand that it is a culture of the football club. Watching Ruben Amorim's team, as I have done, and I've studied Ruben Amorim's team from Braga to Sporting Lisbon, he never played like that. So what is this? Why was Ruben Amorim so pissed off yesterday? Why was he so angry in the press conference? Why? Because they're not doing what he said. They're not doing what he said. Just like what happened with Erik ten Hag, they're not doing what he said. They're ignoring his instructions again. They're more interested in scoring a goal and doing little selfies like that, right? F your selfies, get some goals. Lisa, good morning, my friend. How are you doing? Hi, sir. I can see a lot of the players perform next season just to be selected for the World Cup. Don't be surprised, Lisa. Shaw's already back. He's slyly doing it. Southgate is the type of manager that would put his arm around the players after a mediocre performance and say, you tried your best. Exactly. He's a woke manager. He's one of those soft woke managers. Do you know what I mean? I've lost 85% in Rasmus, but we can't sell him because we won't get 2 strikers. Plus, Rasmus has a massive book value, but no one. This is the problem, Shah. I've been saying it for weeks. We need to sell it for 42 million at least to get an FFP, PSR, straight, which is not going to happen. No one's going to buy him for that money, especially if he's scored 4 goals all season. I could see Amorim walking out of the club next season. I could see that this manager. This is the only manager I remember watching that I can see walking out, even after Europa League. If he wins the Europa League, I could see him even walking out after Europa League. Real talk. Tybo, good morning, my friend. How are you doing? We mentioned exactly this during the watch along yesterday. There is no pride from this lot to wear the shirt. Feel sorry for Amorim to have those little girls in as his team. Absolutely, Tybo. Spot on, bro. Spot on. You could see in Ruben Amorim's face yesterday, it's written all over his face that he is been betrayed. He's been betrayed. It reminded me of Erik ten Hag. But the good thing about Ruben Amorim, the great thing about Ruben Amorim is that he doesn't sugarcoat anything. He speaks the truth. He calls out the owners. He called them out yesterday. You know, and the great thing about Ruben Amorim, he doesn't take accountability for himself. He's always blaming himself. He said in the press conference, if we're this position tomorrow, next season, find another guy. This guy's the one. But people won't know that. Serious question. Who would you replace out of my squad? Loads, mate. Where was Bruno disappearing like a midget? Kenny, I've been saying this for years, but people want to blow smoke up Bruno's arse every single time. Bruno's not a world-class player. He's not a Man United great. He's a good player. And good players go missing sometimes. Bruno goes missing a lot. 3 games now, he's gone missing. What's happened to Bruno? The disappearing act. As I said, we need Roy Keane on the TV to start criticising him again. And then maybe he might pick it up. No, I'm not going to blame Harry Amass and players like that who are 18, 19 years old. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to look at the older players in that squad, and I want them to take accountability because they're the experience in that squad. EC, yeah. That's the thing. The hunger, the passion, the fight, it's not there. Nobody tells a team to go out there and pass from side to side and backwards and side to side and backwards and not run. No manager in world football would tell their team to do that. No manager against West Ham. You know what I mean? Good morning, Ephraim. If all managers are not working, there is a big problem at the club, a massive problem. And we all know what it is, don't we? We all know the problem at the football club, but those greasy, dirty, smelly glazers will not lead the football club. And Ineos, well done for facilitating them, you muppets. Well done. You better back Ruben Amorim this summer. This summer, you know what? I'm not even joking. It's over to them. They need to back Ruben Amorim. If they sack Ruben Amorim, it is an absolute disgrace. Disgrace. And he will be successful elsewhere. The players are awful, yeah. Good morning, Revert7. Bruno should want to leave. The toxic situation might be better for Bruno and United. Bruno needs to look at himself in the mirror instead of talking. Bruno gets the ball and hoofs it up into the bloody top of the east stand. That's what Bruno does yesterday. That's not my captain. You know, Bruno needs to do better himself. I feel like the players have victim mentality. They feel sorry for themselves and don't give a shit about United, only themselves. I agree. Imagine if we lose against Spurs next week. It's going to be a toxic mess. I think United got scammed PSG with regard to it. No. He's been good recently, Cosmo. Don't jump on that bandwagon. He's been all right recently. He played poor yesterday, but 11 players played poor yesterday, Cosmo. Let's not bring it into the thing where let's blame one player.com because he's been good recently, right? So let's not do that. If people think Hans Flick on Nagaz will seed here, they may as well not be United fans. I mean, they're naive, yeah. I mean, and then what are we going to do? This is why I said, maybe if we move Ruben Amorim from the equation and bring in a Hansi Flick and bring in a Luis Enrique and bring in, you know, a Nagelsmann, maybe they will see for themselves, finally, not who's there. You know what I mean? It isn't just on the pitch. It isn't just the manager. It is a whole culture of the football club. Do you know what I mean? And we've been saying this for years, for goodness sake. No one listens. Ciao. Look at Newcastle after. There you go. Oh, but virtual signaling. Let me tell you something about human rights, guys. I want to tell you something about human rights, right? All through the World Cup, all through the takeover, we were hearing about Qatar. We were hearing about the Middle East, Saudi Arabia. You know what I mean? All we hear about is human rights. In 2021, NATO made a law, a worldwide right, that every single human being should be entitled to food. Who were the two countries that voted against that right? America and Israel. So what is the human rights there then? You're not allowed food. So don't tell me about human rights, that the World Cup is going in 2026 to America and you're all happy with it because they look like you. You know what I mean? This is what it's all about. You know what I mean? They speak the same language as us. They're our brothers, Uncle Sam. You know, that's what it is at the end of the day. This is what these people are. You cannot polish a turd, you know what I mean, and call it a bloody Louvre bloody masterpiece. It's ridiculous. Reva, Premier fans are snobs and love to look down on other leagues. It's another subject, but there you go. You know what I mean? Premier League, when we look at the last 10 years, Premier League has dominated along with Spain, Revert 7, hasn't it? So, you know what I mean? When we look at it, there's the odd final like this year, but in reality, Premier League and Spain dominate Europe. Look at the finals. I mean, Man United and Spurs are in the two European finals. It's mad. This atmosphere was created throughout the last 12 years. We had competent bankers to run the club with the owners not even understanding football. The result can only be what we see right now. Exactly, Tyborg. Exactly. Spot on. Ineos on fraud watch this summer. If it's a bad summer, Ineos fans must apologise to all of us state ownership. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Bruno mind distracted since the Saudi offer of 3 games. He's not performing. Would not be bad if we sell him. I mean, at the moment, I don't want it. At the moment, I don't want Bruno to speak. You know what I mean? Because he was poor. Again, I remember resigned and lost the club sapping the energy out of him. The club is cursed. No, the club's not cursed. The club is full of, the club is owned by the Glazers, and the club is toxic. That's what it is. The Glazers need to go, and Ineos. I am sick and tired of hearing he has to improve what he's got. It's the most dumbest argument I've ever seen. The dumbest argument is, oh, but Ruben Amorim took charge of Aston Villa when they were 4th from bottom and he got them up to in the Champions League. It's like they don't listen to themselves. It's like we are Manchester United, they are Aston Villa. Aston Villa will end the season with 0 trophies and maybe not even Champions League football, right? Aston Villa, right, are a smaller club than Manchester United. There's no pressure on Aston Villa. You can get the odd good season. What Ruben Amorim is trying to do is trying to change a culture of the football club. He's not just trying to play Sam Allardyce ball or David Moyes ball. He's trying to make Manchester United into a power again, into a footballing power again. He's trying to make Manchester United challenge again. Aston Villa are not trying to do that. They ain't seeing that. Aston Villa are just interested in moving up the league. That's all it is. And winning no trophies, because that's what they do. This is the difference between Man United and Aston Villa, not in the Forest. There is a big difference between that. But people look at football in such a simplistic thing. They look at football and look at results, stats. It's a stat generation. It's exactly what Jose Mourinho said. If you want to analyze football on stats, you don't know nothing about football. And that is what they do. Ruben Amorim is trying to change a toxic mess that has been going on for 12 years at this football club. It's completely different to the likes of Aston Villa, to the likes of Nottingham Forest. Completely different. Rasta, if these players gave Spurs a trophy, I will on the plane to Manchester and I will curse the hell. I'm not accepting that. Big up, Rasta. The fraud ownership want to sell Nice and Nice. I can't try. They're going to sell Nice for 200. How much they're going to sell Nice for? 200 million. Man United are worth 5 billion. What are they going to do with that? This is ridiculous, isn't it? They flopped at Nice. Look at Inter Milan. There you go. I like Inter Milan the way they run. Spurs and United season are almost identical. Anger is getting fired if Spurs lose the Europa. Amorim is under similar pressure. The season comes down to 90 minutes of football. I personally don't think they're going to sack him, Almac. I don't think they'll sack him even if he loses. I think there's more chance of Ruben Amorim walking than him getting sacked. We are making our young players learn to consistently at Old Trafford, while back under Alex Ferguson, we had the likes of Giskin. We're normalising losing at Old Trafford. Back when in the Sir Alex Ferguson days, losing at Old Trafford was a no-no. It's an absolute no. You do not lose at Old Trafford. You know what I mean? These days, we're normalising losing at Old Trafford. It's, we're losing every week. You know what I mean? Man United have 2 points in about 20 games, don't they? Something like that. It's absolutely unacceptable. 2 points out of 20, shall I say. EC, if we get for Southgate, I won't. I will have to support them, but I will always support Man United, but I'll be Southgate out from the beginning. Nice to 866%, back to Amorim in the poll. Let's have a look at the poll. If I can get the poll. There we go. So, do you back Rami? Yes, 75%. No, 17%. Only if he wins Europa, 7%. Who are those no's? Who are those no's? Big up, Shah. I think we scored more in the Europa League than in the Premier League or something this season. Yeah. You know why we've at 7? Because those players turn it on when they're under pressure. The thing is, they know that they can get in the Champions League via the back door this season. They can win the Europa League and a trophy. And Man United are no strangers to this kind of thing. Man United, of course, won the FA Cup last season, against the odds, against Man City. They're no stranger to doing that. But when it comes to their bread and butter, which is the Premier League, they can't turn it on. They don't know what to do. They're like, we don't really need to win this game. Yeah, we don't need to win this game. It doesn't really matter, does it? And that is the mentality that they have at the moment. And you can tell on the pitch that they have this mentality. They have this mentality where, you know what, we don't really need to win this game. We'll take it easy today. What am I doing tonight? I'll be going to a nice 5-star restaurant where, you know what I mean, and take my missus out. That's what they care about on their 300 grand a week. That's all they care about. I can't quit United, but I'll run onto the pitch and give Southgate. I mean, I'll be Southgate 8 out from the beginning, guys. You've heard it here. Mason Mount stealing 11. Yeah, poor again. Sorry, I meant Kenny. Big up, Kenny. Big up, EC. Some fan want us to play TSC. We need players in their prime. Revert 7. There's certain positions on the pitch, right, that need experience. Alex Ferguson proved it. When Man United were winning things, the striker position, and Alex Ferguson will sign Andy Cole, who's 24, 25. Alex Ferguson was signed Robin Van Persie, who was 29 or something like that. Alex Ferguson was signed Berbatov, who was about 27, you know, something like that. You know, we always sign experienced strikers, you know, always. The only one I can remember who wasn't experienced was Rooney, right? Even Louis Saha, you know, was experienced in the Premier League, you know. Rooney was 16, but Rooney was a generational. That's the difference, right? But more times than not, Alex Ferguson would buy, as you said there, Revert 7, a player in their prime, 25, 26 years old. Man United do need some of those type of players. Man United, he does need to sign some of those players. Kenny, they're all still in a living. He does. Joe, he does. He goes in every press conference and blames himself. We don't need to blame him. He blames himself already. But that doesn't mean that we're Amram out or anything like that. But he blames himself already. You know what I mean? A lot of people talk about Man United. A lot of people talk about how Man United are. I'm probably the only one here who's been supporting Man United since the late 80s, right? I've been supporting Man United a long time. You know what I mean? And I see a lot of characteristics between people and, you know, the way they understand football. And Man United will not get success under Luis Enrique, Hansi Flick, Nagelsmann, you name it, they won't get success. And I'll tell you why. Culture at the football club. Ruben Amram mentioned it yesterday. The culture at the football club is dud. If you're at any institution, any business, if there was a bad culture from the top, it will resonate all the way down to the bottom. This is what's going on at Man United. You've got players like Luke Shaw, Mason Mount, all these players, right, who are sitting there thinking, I don't need to perform today. I don't need to do anything for today. You know, Ruben Amram doesn't set out a bunch of players to pass from side to side and backwards. As I said, you can lead a cow to the river. It doesn't mean that the cow's going to drink from the river. That's it. This thing where let's give up on the manager quickly, let's give up. No, he's to blame. He's to blame. No. These players are shit, Joe. That's it. These players are shit. And I'll tell you what, anyone on your show, KG show, Owen's show, I will give them a history lesson about the birds and the bees. Because at the end of the day, I'm telling you right now, Man United will not change if we keep doing the same thing every single season. Sack the manager. Let's get a new manager in. Come on down. Do you know what I mean? It's like bloody, what's it called? Hotspot. Boom, boom, boom. Like with Michael Barrymore. You know what I mean? That's what it is. Come on down. Let's get another manager in. And 3 months down the line, we're going to be saying the same crap. Oh, man. You know what? We're probably better off with Ruben Amram. Ruben Amram is not exempt from criticism. Nobody is exempt from criticism apart from God at the end of the day. We know that. We're not knowing that. But we got to look at the overriding context here. We got to look at that. You know, because at the end of the day, all I'm hearing is the same thing, deja vu, over and over again. If this went to the court of law, right, those players, the Glazers, will be guilty, not the manager. You could even get O.J. Simpson's lawyer. It will be the Glazers, Ineos. They'll be found guilty. And until we understand that, until we understand about culture at a football club, toxicity at a football club, you know, mentality at a football club, we're not going to win anything apart from the odd Europa League, League Cup, and that's what I would say about that. It's hilarious how a few weeks ago people were saying Amas is the guy because of one bad game. I know this is exactly the same. Exactly the same, Shaw. Exactly the same with Dorgu. Exactly the same with Harry Amas. You know what I mean? We don't have a squad. This is why we need experienced players around the squad. This is why. This is why we need experience around the squad. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we need experience around the squad because those young players need someone to look up to, and they don't have anyone in that squad. Bruno Fernandes, stinker again. Stinker again. Aaron can't be blamed, lad. He's putting his trust into the team and there's no choice. He's been let down again. Just like Erik ten Hag, just like Ruben, just like Ragnick, just like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, just like Jose Mourinho. But nah, Ruben Amorim has to shoulder the blame. I need a blessing from someone. 50 grand for a blessing. We do not have to gaslight our players. Summer will be toxic mess if we lose to Spurs next week. It'll be madness. Do you reckon Ineos will sack Amorim if we lose the final next week? I don't think they will. I think he's got more chance of walking than anything else. I think there's more chance of walking, honestly. Big up Sal, wise words. Big up EC. Good morning, Sal, and everyone. Big up Randy. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. The day Qatar withdrew from the takeover process, Man United finished. Man United, it basically held us back years. It held us back years. That's what happened. I plan to go to USA 26, but I'm afraid they get deported once I'm there. I've been to America a lot of times, guys. My grandma's American, so I go there quite a lot of times. So I can have a neutral opinion about America. You know what I mean? Hypocrites. Smash the lights, people. Big up Shah. Look, listen, you don't get this in any other channel out there. I speak the gospel. I don't sugarcoat things. Do you know what I mean? I don't do that. I don't need 3 or 4 people against one on my stream to try and make someone else look stupid. I don't do that. You know what I mean? I do my thing. I do it on my own, guys. Do you know what I mean? And I do it. And you know what I mean? And I'll take on any comers, man. Anyone. The human right thing works only one way for people. We like to point our fingers at others. But meanwhile, bombing countries in oblivion, and the USA calls it bringing democracy. I mean, this is what it is. Democracy, isn't it? Someone needs a dose of democracy. There you go. Joe Blackman's still in Azerbaijan settings. He's got the Azerbaijan mic. You know, in the old days, right? In the 90s, they used to have these European games. And they used to sound like they used to sound like that. Even in the 90s, they used to have that when Man United used to play away in Europe. Like, when we used to go away to Rostov Volgograd and things like that. You guys are too young to remember. But you remember when Man United used to go to Rostov Volgograd and Honved and places like that. You know what I mean? And that we used to have that mic. It used to be like that. Emery ain't even in the champion. No, mate. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. If anyone could come at me, anyone, any channel, any person can come at me, I will have an answer for everything. Because I'm tired of this deja vu thing that's going on. You know what I mean? I'm tired of living in a deja vu society. I don't know about you. Big up Sal. Big up Noah. How you doing, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Big up. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Sanjay. Big up Theo. Big up Joe Black. Big up everyone. Big up Joe. Big up everyone. Thank you for joining me this morning. Remember to stream. Thank you so much, you legend, Joe Blackman. Big up yourself. Listen, I'm passionate, guys. Sal, this is the Ineos because they should have sacked Erik ten Hag last season after the F Cup final. Let me tell you something, Noah. I'm going to tell you something. There is a whole number of problems at Manchester United that doesn't just stem down to whether it's Erik ten Hag or Ruben Amorim. Might have been part of the problem, but it's not. Man United have a cultural problem, and Ruben Amorim said it yesterday. And this cultural problem has been going on for the last 12 years. Unless we change this cultural problem at Manchester United, we're not going to change Man United at the end of the day. It's not going to change. The cultural problem comes from the top, and it's resonating all the way to the bottom. And we need to understand that. Unless we change the cultural problem, football's not simplistic. It doesn't deal with absolutes. If we sacked Ten Hag, would it have been better? Would it have been worse? Who knows? Can't be much worse than now. But you know what I mean? Know what I'm saying? It could have been worse. We don't know. But at the end of the day, Man United have a cultural mentality problem. And until we change that, nothing is going to improve. We have no depth. Absolutely. That is the problem. Big up UK Darren. We can only judge Amram when he's players to give into next season at least. I agree, Darren. And at next season, he's only been at Man United 5 months, guys, without any of his players. And Dorgu was an Ineos signing, by the way. You know what? So basically, next season, if he gets the players he needs in the team, right? I mean, I'm not telling him to sign 10 players because we're not going to do that. 5 players of his own, at least. Then I will start saying, well, maybe he's got a partly to blame. Ruben Amram doesn't need me to tell him that. He said it yesterday in a press conference. And let me bring up some of the quotes from the press conference, guys, yesterday. So basically, this is Ruben Amram yesterday. Everybody is focused on the final. The final is not the biggest thing in football, in our football club. We need to change a lot of things. If we don't change the way we play and perform and feel this urgency of winning every game, we should not play in the Champions League. We should just stay in the Premier League and learn how to be competitive 1 week at a time. He knows, guys. He knows. He doesn't need us to tell him. He doesn't need us to tell him. You know what I mean? He's there. He knows it. He's saying it himself. You know what I mean? And this is not that, look, at the end of the day. In Europa League, we don't play quite well, but we have that urgency. Exactly. We find a way to win the game. These games in the Premier League, sometimes we are not focused and we don't have that feeling to win, to get to the next stage. Exactly. Mentality, guys. Mentality. Leading the cow to the river doesn't mean the cow's going to drink from the river. We are not scared of losing a game as Manchester United. We don't have that fear anymore. And that is the most dangerous thing a big club can have. Absolutely. He knows it, guys. He's one of us. He is one of us, guys. He knows it. I think it's a concern. It's not the player's fault. It's my fault. I'm responsible. If we cannot change that really fast, we should give our place to different persons. Blaming himself, accountability. There you go. He's blamed himself, and he shouldn't blame that like that. He's thrown himself under the bus. But there you go. He blamed himself as well. He took accountability. Embarrassed, and it's hard to accept. Everybody has to think seriously about a lot of things here. We have to change a lot of things at the end of the season. I agree. And there you go. Putting pressure on Ineos. I like that. And Ruben, Bruno Fernandes said the missing act yesterday. We created enough opportunity to score goals. It's happening too much for us. We needed to improve a lot. We didn't create enough chances. Bruno, sorry, mate. We created 1 or 2. We need to be stronger and more eager to score goals and put balls into the box. If you create chances, you have to try and bury them. We're not creating enough, mate. He also said, it's difficult to explain. Everybody wants to score goals. It's not been our season to get goals. We have to improve in that. We have to be much better. And I've heard it all before, Bruno. We've all heard it before. I'm sorry, but we've all heard it before, ain't we? We've all heard it before. We have 2 games. We have 1 more game. We can't just only focus on the Europa League final. We have to put the maximum effort on every game. Absolutely. But then again, why don't you do it then, Bruno? We've heard it all before. But your lies ain't working now. Look who's hurting now. Said, I have to shut you down. I have to shut you down. I've heard it all before. Now, the dreaded player ratings, guys. Guys, this is my player ratings for yesterday's game. I've never seen so much oranges since the Tango advert, but this is it. Onana 5, Mazraoui 6, Euro 5.7, Shaw 4.9, Ahmad 5.8, Bruno Fernandes 5.0, Ugarte 5.2, Amas 5.3, Mason Mount 4.7, Mainu 4.8, Højlund 4.6. That is it. I'm not doing man of the match because I don't believe anyone deserved the man of the match yesterday. Absolutely disgraceful yesterday. In my humblest of opinions, guys. Hoyland couldn't score in the brothel area. He's awful. He's awful. So, do you put us in a few words like Switch FC? Absolutely. When we need it. We are educating young players, losing mentality. Absolutely, Ephraim. Absolutely. Who do you blame? Culture at the football club, Irfan. Culture at the football club. Culture at the football club. Culture at the football club is it's okay to lose at Old Trafford. Culture at the football club is it's okay to down tool when football matches don't really matter, when they all do. Because you've got people traveling from the USA yesterday. Culture at the football club is that. Culture at the football club is winning at Manchester United, regardless of, whether we need to win or not. I remember us winning titles and wrapping up titles in April. And I remember us still winning the last 5 games or something like that. Do you know what I mean? I remember those days. That is culture at the football club. That is the problem. That is who to blame. And who's to blame about culture? Upstairs, the Glazers. Europa League trophy, if we get, will be only saving grace, I think. It's going to change our history, GK. Big up, GK. Amram is exposing the weakness of this lot. Absolutely. A stupid argument over a horse bought us here, fucking Glazers. I know, mate. Fan, you're absolutely right. I bet if Ferguson was still manager, a lot of bullshit players would have been gone. A lot of bullshit players wouldn't even been playing for us. Listen, they wouldn't even be here. Shah, bro, I understand that your point, but we need a new manager who has a Premier League. And no, we don't. I don't think so, Noah. I disagree. We don't. There's a lot of managers who manage right now who didn't have Premier League experience. Look at Arne Slot, for example. Do you know what I mean? Look at these managers. Amram literally blamed himself during the press conference. Exactly. When we won it with kids in 1996, we also had a proven winners in Cantona, Bruce Pallister, Owen Schmeichel, McClare, Andy Cole. We can go on, isn't it? Revert 7. It's completely different. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Spot on. Rooney was generational, but also had Van Nistelrooy to help. Absolutely, Shah. Good comment. We'll never have an English player like Rooney in the first. Absolutely. But look at that comment, Shah. Very good comment. Ruben Van Nistelrooy was there to nurture Rooney. You know what I mean? Roy Keane was there to nurture Rooney. Ryan Giggs was there to nurture Rooney. Do you know what I mean? He blames himself for taking the Man United job. I honestly think, Triple M, that he wants to leave. I think he wants to leave. I think that he wants to leave the football club. I do. Who's out there available with that experience? Absolutely. Joe, these players are shit, but 16, 17, he should be doing better with that. At the end of the day, as I said, Joe, you can lead a cow to the river. It doesn't mean the cow's going to drink from the river. These players might want to sack Ruben Amorim, just like they sacked Erik ten Hag and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Jose Mourinho. Who knows? I mean, at the end of the day, when you're changing a culture at a football club, you can go down the route of Gareth Southgate and Sam Allardyce and that sort of thing and play route round football to the big man up front, right? That's not going to get sustainable success. When you're trying to change a culture at a football club, you're going to hurt. You're going to hurt. And Man United did it in the 1970s, right? You're going to hurt. And it's going to be painful. But in the long run, it's going to be better for Manchester United. Now, I'm not going to blame completely, delete the blame from Ruben Amorim. Of course I'm not. He puts the team out there. They do what it is. But at the end of the day, I've watched a lot of Ruben Amorim football over the last few months. And none of his teams pass sideways and backwards. So we need to look at that. And we need to look at, is this a talent issue? Is this a talent issue? Is it a mentality issue? What is it? One thing's for certain. Ruben Amorim blames himself anyway. But it's not just one thing. That is the whole thing. But what is the biggest thing? What is the biggest problem? Upstairs, culture at the football club. That is the biggest problem at the football club, in my humblest. Big up, Joe. Nah. He flopped at Tottenham, mate. It doesn't take a rocket science to see that we are very unbalanced. We lack quality in areas of the pitch. Everything is going through Bruno, as no one else is capable of doing. Agreed, EC. Very, very good comment. He's not good enough for the Premier League. I don't think he's the man to take us forward. If I was to get a manager from Italy, it'd be Inzaghi, but not Conte. Absolutely not. Conte's not that man. Not for Man United. Rome wasn't built on a day. You've got to be patient. You've got to be patient, guys. For goodness sake. 5 months, guys. Come on. 5 months. For goodness sake. You know what? Thank God I was born in the 80s, because you know what? You know why so much talent came out in the 80s and the 90s and before that, and it doesn't come out anymore? You know why we're searching for good strikers now when there's none available? When in the 90s we had 20 to 50 strikers only England could pick from. You know what I mean? Because people don't have patience and people don't have the will to improve. They blame everyone else and they don't take accountability. Absolutely. Hate to be ageist, but that is just the way it is. I love Bruno, but he's overrated, man. I agree, Revert 7. But if I talk, I'll be in trouble. Rome wasn't built on a day. Big up football heritage. I agree. If Ruben Amorim gets sacked, who would you want to bring in a new manager next season? For me, I don't want to even think about it, but I don't know. Don't forget, whilst the Glazers are still owners, we are swimming against the tide. Absolutely, Revert 7. Sal, your channel deserves to be top there with the big Man United content creators. You speak so much sense with realism and passion. Thank you so much, Shah. I'm a real Man United supporter. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm not like one of those guys who sit there in the middle, you know what I mean, looking down on people on their stream and starts, you. And you know what I mean? And my opinion is just the gospel, and that's it. You know what I mean? I like to listen to people. I like to talk to people. And I have no doubt in, you know, my support for this football club, because I've always been supporting this football club my whole life. You know, a lot of people haven't. They've been supporting this football club since 2008. There's no disrespect there. But I've been supporting this football club when we were bad again, and Alex Ferguson, you know what I mean? And people were calling for Alex Ferguson's head. And what I've noticed over the last few years is that the things we're doing, the things we keep screaming out for, the things we advocate for are the things that are bringing us further down. You know what I mean? That's what I would say. Big up, Shah. EC. Some toxic cycle. Ask for another manager to get a temporary success and then they call for sacking. Rinse and repeat. Some of these guys never learn. Absolutely, EC. Noah Vida, bring any manager in and nothing going to change under Gleneos. Absolutely, bruv. I would not surplus. I mean, no. You said it there, EC. It's the same problem after 13 years. So why are we going to do the same thing like we've been doing for 13 years? You know what I mean? It was a mistake to set Edinburgh when they did. Maybe he could have waited. I mean, Ruben Amorim openly said, Randy, that he wanted to come in the summer. He didn't want to come in January. People asking to sack the manager again. The definition of the sacking, doing the same thing over again, expect different results in 12 years. Absolutely, exactly. No, Bruno needs to shut his mouth, man. I mean, he exempts himself from blame, doesn't he? He hasn't performed for 3 games again. He needs Roy Keane. I said he needs Roy Keane to start slagging him off again. Maybe he might start performing again. The players reached the final third of the pitch and Fanny, but absolutely, Revert 7. You're spot on about that. They do. The fact that the culture of the fear of losing at Old Trafford, whether we're first time in the league or I despise these players. Me too, fan. Me too, brother. We never ever had a manager problem. We've got player problem and a club problem. We got a club problem. We got a toxicity problem. We got a lot of things problem at this football club. It doesn't. It wasn't. No, it was buying there. Bruno himself carrying the burden. He didn't play well yesterday though. He needs to hold it. Short is he hasn't played well for a couple of games, Bruno, as well. So you know, players need to hold it. Amorim, man of the match, absolutely. Big up Triple N. Bruno trying to shoot 40 yards in 79 minutes explains why the attacking players always want to shoot from distance. Yeah, you are what your captain is. It resonates. You know what I mean? And he needs to put the blame. A lot of people are blaming Harry Amash yesterday. We need to blame the experience in the team, in my opinion. So Amorim, man of the match for this interview yesterday. Big up Amorim for that interview. Absolutely. People cannot, you know what I mean? As I said, I think he'll walk. Kenny, exactly. Noah, I agree with you, but this ownership won't change anything until we get rid of the. But I hope this cover change one day. We hope so, Noah. Big up, brother. Respect your opinion, mate. We need to change signings like Moise. We need to change some signings like Moise Keane, Ratigi, and Angelo Stiller. I don't like Moise Keane. Flopped in the Premier League before, mate. And we don't want to take any more risks. Good morning, Chichi. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. So I've got measly 1.5 million. The Glazers took the opportunity amidst the damaged relationships and pounced to take over United. Absolutely, along with Ineos, and took the same advantage from our problems at United. Problems are much more deeper than just footballing. Absolutely. I thought our 8th season was the lowest in the club. I cannot believe we are 16th or 17th. Less than anyone so far. United are chasing that record 17th. I don't care about the Premier League anymore. Goals for George. I'll wait until next season. These players are down-tooled. And I'm not surprised by that. Amorim is massive on our attitude, I believe. Look at Amorim's attitude yesterday. I love it. He was brilliant yesterday. He was the man of the match. Seriously speaking, for me, Euro shouldn't even have been used in the match. You say, what happened to Frederick? Are we losing our top star? Yeah, you can criticize that. But at the end of the day, what I would say, Uchichi, is that hindsight is a beautiful thing, isn't it? You know, at the end of the day. Ambrose will get us back on track. Absolutely, Sanjay. Love it. I want Amron to be back properly in the summer. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely, GK. What happening? We have a final. Delict out and Euro. Euro is not serious, by the way, guys. The injury is not serious at the moment, so don't worry about it. Ruben Amron said they're going to evaluate the injury today and tomorrow. So let's see what happens. But Amron said himself it's not serious. I missed the relegation by 1 place, but it means we are the worst club not getting relegated. Man United would have been relegated in, I think it is about 5 seasons since the Premier League, yeah. But that is not down to Ruben Amron. What will you be having in lunch? Today, tuna. That's about it, mate. Sporting will win the Premier League. Our players are scared of the ball, absolutely. Giles, morning, sir. Question: will we get Cunha and Bremo? I don't know at the moment, mate. I don't know. It is, you know, don't be surprised if Man United sign a player before the Europa League final, get an agreement going. Don't be surprised by that. You know what I mean? To boost Man United, so to speak. How does Bruno create the most chances in the league statistically? But on the eye, is because he's a stat merchant, mate. There's many stat merchants. Thank you, Sal. Have a great day. Have a great day, Irfan. You legend. Good to see you. Luke Shaw pulled his hamstring when he... Oh, my goodness me. What a prat. Absolutely. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. Passionate show. That's how we like it. Thank you so much. No fake business here. Do you know what I mean? It is all real here, guys. Thank you so much, everyone who continues to support the channel. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new and smash a like on the video on your way out, please. That does help the channel. Does help the algorithms and stuff like that. As you know, YouTube... love to algorithm and stuff like that. Thank you so much, Revert7, you legend. Thank you, mate. Guys, keep your notifications on. I'll try and come back later on for Chatterbox, but you know what I mean? Just keep your notifications on. So whenever I go live, I will be here. And rest assured, there will be some news coming out of Man United very, very soon. Don't be surprised if news comes out of Man United today. Have a great day, guys. Morning, evening, night, wherever you are in the world. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much and have a great day. I'll see you later. Peace.